Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Nicholas. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below, and I will get to them as soon as I possibly can. It could be pretty much any type of video. And Nicholas wanted me to look at 3 episodes of the first season of The Many Lives of Dobie Gillis. Now, to be fair, I had never heard of this show before. It was definitely before my time. It came out in 1959. It ended in 1963. I guess there were a couple tries in the 80s or so to revive it, but it didn't really work out. Maybe because they were like me. They didn't know what the hell the show was either. But looked it up. I guess it was on CBS. I guess the characters were the inspiration for the Scooby-Doo characters. Because there's an interview with one of the creators of Scooby-Doo saying, no, I guess someone said, oh, this is why these characters are the way they are. And the person goes, no, they're not. It's because it was this old show called The Many Lives of Dobie Gillis that we were inspired by. I guess I shouldn't say old because Scooby-Doo was what, late 60s it started, so it would have only been a few years before. So this ended in 1963. Because I guess the lead guy, Dobie Gillis, played by Dwayne Hickman, is supposed to be a bit like Fred. And then Bob Denver from Gilligan's Island, he's the co-star in this, and he, I guess, is the inspiration for Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And I kind of see it. I would say that was the most interesting part, is seeing Bob Denver. Because I vaguely do remember Gilligan's Island. And it's interesting to see Bob Denver in a role before that became a thing. And from what I understand, he was the first beatnik character to be in a TV show. I don't know if there was ever any in a movie, but definitely a TV show. The first beatnik character, and he would be in the jazz, and would say like a lot. She's like pretty. Would wear these torn up shirts. Wasn't about material things. Not quite a hippie. He was like, hey man, how's it going? Not that, but a beatnik would be the best way to describe him. So that was interesting. Again, just to learn that bit of information, like, because I'm a Scooby-Doo fan. And this one girl, which I forget her damn name, apparently she's an inspiration for Daphne. I don't know who the inspiration was for Velma, or, well, I guess there probably wouldn't be one for Scooby-Doo. But anyway, it's a black and white sitcom. It is on YouTube for free for those who want to give it a look. And at least with the first 3 episodes, it always starts with your lead character by the statue, the thinker, the one that's like this. Like this. And then Dobie will do this as well. And then talking to the audience as if he was Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. And pretty much talking about how he wants girls. I mean, it's pretty much, the whole gist of it is just pretty much how fucking horny Dobie Gillis is. That's really what it is. I'm fucking horny, I want to get laid, and I want this girl and her panties. That's really the gist of the story so far of the show, of the 3 episodes. Each one is pretty much him wanting to get laid as much as you can do for 1959. He's talking about how, I want a girl, a soft, beautiful, creamy girl. Just one lousy girl. His dad, he gives some crap to his dad saying, well, maybe intelligence is a little strong. And his dad keeps going, you know I gotta kill that boy, right? I like the way the father said it. I thought that was pretty funny way he said it. And the plots are pretty simple, as you would think with a 1950s to 60s sitcom. It's not going to be too overcomplicated. So, episode 1, apparently if you go to the movie theater, I don't know, if it's a weekly thing, a monthly thing. If they draw your name, you get $100. I wish they would do that. If they did that, I would go to the theater more. Get a chance to win $100? Okay, I'll go to the theater more. Especially $100 in 1959. Hell, $100 today is a lot, let alone 1959. So fuck. Someone needs to do like the calculations of what $100 in 1959 would be in 2025. I'd be like, yeah, if whatever that amount is, I'll go with. If it's just $100, I'll go with theater, yeah. So, lucky. And pretty much what he wants is that he wants money to take this girl out to this dance, this prom type of thing. And the girl that his love interest, they make it to such a superficial one note bitch. Which, yeah, she'll keep saying, well, I mean, I need someone successful. I need someone rich. It's not just for me. It's because my sister married someone and then it didn't work out. And she and the guy lived with her parents. And my dad is this old and my mom is this old. And I can't have that happen to me as well. But the way she says it, the way she portrays it, the way episode 3, she fantasizes about money, just makes her such an unlikable, superficial bitch that just very unlikable. I do not like the lady. She's pretty, and it's not the actress. It's just the way the character's written. It's like, god damn, this is pretty awful fucking character, honestly. Bob Denver was fun to see him again in a role earlier than Gilligan's Island, so he gets like a portable radio and he's listening to jazz and the teacher takes it away, but he keeps doing this as if he's listening and they have to remind him, hey, he took the radio. Oh, okay. They get the idea of let's do this little caper where you're always up front, Bob Denver. Maynard is the character's name. You're always up front, so they'll more likely ask you to put your name in. When you do that, just say the name. Now, granted, they would take it and then look at it and repeat it. So I don't know how that would work anyway. Because, again, they still would take the thing. The idea is that he will let it go. I think he even says he'll just let it go back into the box. But anyway. So they think of doing that so that the guy can win the $100, give a little bit to Maynard, and keep the rest for himself to go on this date. But as they're watching a movie, there's this caper happening within the movie. And then the guy imagines him and his buddy in the movie and being a part of the action, but then their voices are dubbed. I thought that was kind of clever, them being in the movie. And then that's a way for him to kind of be overcome by his guilt. And so when the time does come, the ticket is said, he rips up his ticket, he doesn't want to do it the wrong way. But then Bob Denver comes in and goes, sorry I'm late. Am I too late for the drawing? And the lead guy's like, what? Oh, I was like detained. I was in jail. I like that. I was like detained. There's definitely a different way to say you're in jail. And so the lead guy's pissed because he won it legitimately, but he ripped up the fucking ticket. And also one thing I noticed is the director of this is Rod Amatoba. The same guy who directed this episode directed the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Yes. And then, so yeah. Better than the Garbage Pail Kids movie, I'll say that. So, Maybe that also explains why the Garbage Pail Kids movie did not work, because you get the guy who did, this is what it is, and it works for what it is. But nothing you see here, though, I need to get him to do a Garbage Pail Kids movie. Nothing at all. That would be like getting Martha Stewart to star in a fucking reboot of Cabin Fever. Or, I don't know, Mike Tyson to star in Debbie Does Dallas, the New Age. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it was interesting to see, Bob Denver and the way his character interacted, and it's also interesting just to see how different things were in the 50s. The vernacular, the speech, the dialogue, the dialect that they had, how much more innocent it seemed on the screen, of what they can and can't show. It's definitely an interesting window through time, let me put it that way. Now, the other two episodes, the second one I wasn't really big on. Pretty much, there's this guy named Milton who keeps having these nice suits, and the girl really likes them. So then Dobie goes to this store with these suits, but the guy goes, listen, my store is running out of... It's going to the shits. It's going to the birds. No one's coming in to buy stuff. And Dobie's like, well, you need advertisement. Let me wear the suits and I'll advertise in school and they'll go and maybe buy stuff from you. I don't know if that really happened, because I don't think you ever saw people going to buy stuff from him. But it was a way for Dobie to get free suits. And then pretty much what it is, they keep coming in the classroom with different suits, different ties, corsets, all sorts of stuff. And the fact that this is all it takes for this girl, this girl's just so fucking superficial. Bob Denver, he's there once again playing Maynard. And some of the lines he says, I'm a symptom of the Beat Generation, or maybe you and I could do something, Big Daddy. Granted, if you say Big Daddy today, they're going to think of a different fucking connotation to that. But then a suit face-off, I mean, this is how sitcoms back to the day worked. Like that would be the center of an episode. The one interesting thing about this, though, is the guy who plays the rival, Milton. I'm looking at this guy. I'm going, why does he look so damn familiar? I'm like, oh shit. It's a very young Warren Beatty. Yes. 1990 Dick Tracy. What was it? The Bulworth. A lot of films he did. Was it Reds? Like a lot of stuff he did in the 80s and the 70s. But yes, Warren Beatty. I'm like, oh shit, I never knew he was on this show. Well, I mean, I didn't know the show existed, alone. I don't think he was on the show a lot. Maybe, I think a little bit in season 1. But it's like, oh shit, this... Damn. Now, I may not have followed Warren Beatty's career as much as Gene Hackman or some of these other guys, but it's always fascinating to me to see these actors like before they were famous and to see them in these smaller roles. It's just a fascinating thing to me. The history of some of these actors and what they've done in the past. I don't know why it fascinates me. Just a nice little bit of film, or this day's TV history there. But yeah, that was the only interesting. The plot I do give a rat's ass about. I don't give a shit about suits. I don't give a shit about you dealing with this girl, because the girl is a one-note, superficial bitch. I'm talking about the character, not the actress. So I just didn't care. Episode 3. This was a little bit more interesting. Once again, though, that lady just being so superficial, where Dobie's trying to deal with her, and he wants to go into poetry, and she's like, "Ugh, name me one rich poet. You either choose poetry or you choose me. You need to be a doctor." And then when he gets, well, maybe I will go try out and I'll do some classes in science. And when she is just describing how much potential money he could make as a doctor, it seemed like this was their way of showing someone get an orgasm without showing an orgasm. But she gets so excited about the money, and like she is ready to have an orgasm. Oh my god! And you know how much money they make here, and then you know how much they make money there. I'm like, Jesus Christ, lady. So he takes his course and meets this girl named Zelda. And she was definitely a weird, but kind of an interesting character. More interesting than the other girl because she talks about how, oh, what was the word? We're a slave to propinquity, which I'd never heard that word before. But it means a close relationship, as in this case, literally close to each other, because of that science of propinquity that eventually, because we'll be in classes here for a certain amount of time, then if we go to college in a certain amount of time, more likely we'll fall in love, so don't fight it, you can't beat science. And this is like her line, "You're a three-toed idiot, and I wish you were never born, but I'm a slave to propinquity." I'm sitting there going, it seems like you want to be a slut, but you don't want to admit you're a slut, so you don't just use this excuse that, hey, there's a guy who's next to you, and you want to sleep with him, ride his dick, his face, or his face in his dick, or both at the same time, and you would just want to be a slut, and you don't want to admit it. So you want to use propinquity as your excuse. But she's still more interesting than the other girl, I'll say that. So then I would go to either the one girl imagining him being a doctor and people just walking in and magically being cured, and her just getting piles and piles of money, because that's all she could think about. Even though she said in the earlier episodes, well, it's about, I want to take care of my family. This doesn't really help your case, lady, if this is what you're thinking of. Having, this about, money, money, money. Eventually, Dobie says, I'm done with this, I'm tired of this, and goes back to poetry. And there you go. So, I mean, other than that girl Zelda, at least brought a little bit of different... I don't know if she's in the show more. If so, maybe that would be the Velma inspiration. I don't know. But... again... that also didn't help. That one did not have much of any Bob Denver in it, and he's one of the things I'm curious about, because he inspired Shaggy, and I remember not minding Bob Denver, for... hell, I remember there's a show I love called Elf. Got the Shout Factory DVD there, where I think Gillis Island, some of them made an appearance on an Elf episode. That might have been the first time I ever saw them, was on that Elf episode. But, and then there was what was the movie? Like, they got off the island, and then by the end, I think they got back on the island. So it just made it all seem kind of... I guess the idea is that they had a little bit of happiness before they were back to being stuck on the fucking island. Anyway, I would say at the end of the day, is my cup of tea? No. Dobie Gillis as a character, I'm not sure if I find him that interesting or that fascinating. Maynard, Bob Denver, I do. The dad, he has some funny lines throughout it, mostly about how much he wants to kill his son. The girl was my least favorite part because she, again, just such a one-note, greedy, like materialistic, superficial. Like she'd be part of the mean girls. She'd be one of those. She'd be like, where's my Gucci bag? Whatever. You know, she'd be part of that. I could see it. She'd be on TikTok going, I'm so pretty. This is so pretty. She'd be part of that, you know, of today. So. And the fact that every episode centers on that does not make it interesting for me. I mean, it's literally 3 episodes of I want to get in this girl's pants, and the girl I don't think is that likable. So there you go. Maybe that's the reason for it as well. But it's an interesting piece of TV history. Again, the first beatnik to be shown. Again, an early role from Bob Denver. Warren Beatty appearing. So again, something you learn every day, and that's pretty cool. So thanks, Nicholas, for the request. Hopefully this was okay. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.